Recent information on the internet suggests that Khamzat Chimaev, after battling a long-term illness that forced him to pull out of a planned fight against Robert Whittaker in Saudi Arabia, is now considering retirement.
I don't know whether Khamzat's body can handle this sport anymore at this level, and that's such a shame, because we're talking about a guy that at one point in time looked like he could do something very, very special. We were talking about a two-weight champion at least, and now the guy can't even get through a training camp. I fear for his future, and maybe more so than McGregor, yeah. I don't know whether we'll ever see Khamzat inside the octagon again.
This news has shocked many, as Chimaev's departure would be a huge loss for the UFC and his fans. However, there is some hope. Chimaev has faced similar challenges before. During the pandemic, he faced some serious health issues and even contemplated retirement, but managed to overcome those difficulties. Borz returned and continued his winning streak. Now, Chimaev is at a critical juncture. Will Chimaev end his incredible career, or will he find the strength to come back even stronger like Khabib Nurmagomedov? Khabib faced numerous injuries and a lengthy period of inactivity, but returned to dominate the sport and claim the UFC championship. Chimaev has the potential to follow in Khabib's footsteps. Well, to understand, we need to revisit his journey from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I want to be crazy. I want to make money. I want to be different. Doesn't want to be like you.
Khamzat Chimaev was born on May 1st, 1994 in the Chechen Republic during the height of the First Chechen War. His early years were marked by the brutal realities of growing up in a war-torn region. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Chimaev's childhood was shaped by the constant presence of conflict and hardship, which played a significant role in molding his resilient character.
I'm born from this country. When I was a kid, it was war in my country. Like everybody knows Chechnya, say, like before how they was. And I like to fight in the cage and smash somebody. It's too easy. That's too easy. As you smash somebody, you get money, brother. It's perfect for me.
As Chimaev himself recalls in his home village in Chechnya, wrestling was more than a sport. Boys who avoided the wrestling hall were ridiculed by slightly older boys and then compared to girls, a stigma that no boy wanted to bear. Opposite Chimaev's house was a wrestling club, and it was here that his journey began at the age of 5. Chimaev was an emotional child, often getting into fights on the streets and finding himself in dangerous situations. Despite the numerous street fights, his most notable scar, the large one above his upper lip, was not a result of these altercations. As Chimaev recalls, it came from an accident at home when he was 2 years old. He fell down a flight of stairs, landing on concrete, which not only left a permanent scar on his lip, but also damaged his nose and upper teeth. This scar, which initially worried his parents, eventually became a part of his intimidating image in the UFC. Now, in addition to the cultural push towards wrestling, Chimaev received crucial guidance from his older brother, Arthur. Recognizing Khamzat's potential and need for direction, Arthur focused his younger brother's energy on sports. This mentorship was vital in channeling Chimaev's natural aggression and competitive spirit into a productive and disciplined athletic career. In 2013, the Chimaev family faced another significant change when Arthur required back surgery. The lack of adequate medical facilities in Chechnya led the family to move to Sweden, where they hoped to find better medical care. This move proved to be a turning point for Khamzat. After the surgery, the family decided to stay in Sweden, which offered more opportunities for Khamzat's wrestling career. He continued to train and compete, quickly establishing himself in the local wrestling scene. Khamzat Chimaev's transition from wrestling to MMA was natural given his background and skills. His wrestling foundation provided a strong base, and his aggressive, relentless style made him a perfect fit for MMA.
I've started 5-6 years ago, so everyone thinks I'm being like fighter all my life. So I was working like different places, security and all of these things.
Standing at 188 centimeters with a reach of 191 centimeters, Chimaev possessed physical attributes that gave him an edge over many opponents, and his aggressive style quickly caught the attention of the UFC. His UFC debut in July of 2020 was nothing short of spectacular. As you remember, he defeated 2 opponents within 10 days, demonstrating his readiness to take on any challenge at any time. Although the level of competition in his initial fights were not the highest, Chimaev's performance was still nothing short of dominant. His aggressive fighting style and raw power were evident as he overwhelmed his opponents, missing only 2 punches in his first 4 fights. This extraordinary start fueled discussions about Chimaev's potential to become a lasting star in the UFC. Chimaev himself added to the hype, confidently declaring his ambitions to become a champion in 3 different weight classes.
I'm the champion, man.
What do you think of Sean Strickland?
Yeah, just about. I'm the champion. What should I think? Yeah, that's fine.
However, Chimaev's rapid ascent hit a significant obstacle when he contracted COVID-19. He suffered severely from the virus to the point where he feared he might have cancer. The situation was so dire that Khamzat thought he had cancer, talked about death, and then even announced his retirement.
Yeah, lungs, I feel pain there, like when I'm blood, like when I come out sometimes. And I like think too much, like think too much like about when I gonna be healthy, when I can fight, when I can go train, like that make me like that this post I did, like maybe it's finished for me, like something like that.
As a result, Borz returned, but honestly, he had lost a part of himself. Since his return, Chimaev has only fought 4 times in 4 years, a schedule that frustrated fans who had expected more frequent appearances from the promising fighter. This infrequent fighting schedule did not align with Chimaev's bold statements about his ambitions, leading to criticism and skepticism about his ability to fulfill his lofty goals. But the UFC management always saw great potential in Chimaev and decided to give Chimaev the opportunity to prove himself. One such opportunity was a fight against Leon Edwards. The UFC appeared to be intent on using this fight to propel Chimaev even further into stardom. However, Chimaev refused to fight during Ramadan, a decision that cost him significant opportunities and added to the frustration of his fans. Despite these setbacks, Chimaev is still only 30 years old, leaving him with ample time to reboot his career. He has the potential to follow in the footsteps of Khabib Nurmagomedov, who also faced numerous injuries and a lengthy period of inactivity before ultimately returning to dominate the sport and claim the UFC championship. And if you remember, in April 2014, Khabib fought Rafael dos Anjos, and a few months later he tore his ligaments. What followed was a very long and painful recovery, accompanied by several more unpleasant injuries. In 2015, Khabib broke a rib and then dropped out again. As a result, Nurmagomedov's return to the octagon took place exactly 2 years after his victory over dos Anjos. During his long absence, the future champion received a lot of criticism, but 2 years later, he came back and became the UFC champion. Now, had Khabib decided to retire, who now would know who Khabib Nurmagomedov is? Instead, he is now one of the most influential people in the world of sports.
I gotta see. I think this could be it. Well, if it...
One of the other additional complications that Chimaev faces is his lack of an American visa, which restricts his ability to participate in a significant number of UFC events that are held in the United States. This limitation has now forced the UFC to schedule even more events in the East in order to accommodate him. Despite these challenges, Chimaev remains a highly marketable fighter, and even the current middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis, has expressed interest in fighting him.
For Khamzat, exciting prospect in the middleweight division because he has this aura of he hasn't been beaten. Now, should he beat Whittaker, I would love to fight Khamzat.
Now, the fight with Whittaker was a chance for Borz to prove to everyone what he was capable of, but it didn't work out. Surprisingly, Chimaev will be replaced by Aliskerov. Khamzat defeated Ikram and Brave, winning by a brutal knockout. But while Borz is absent, his place is being taken by other fighters that he has defeated. Such an irony of fate.
That is all for today. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because it is very important to us. And thank you all in advance.